So it is that time of year where a lot of us like to participate in the December daily documenting experience. In this video, I'm going to be working on the first 4 stories in my December daily album, showing you a little bit more what's in this album, why I'm using my 2018 album for my 2022 stories, and everything in between. Next on the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. I'm Victoria, and here we play with all things scrapbooking and crafting. If that's something you enjoy, click the subscribe button, click the bell. That way you'll be notified each and every time a new video is posted. Today I'm going to be working in my 2022 December daily album. I actually have several of these projects that are not done, and I decided that instead of going out and buying new items for this year's project, I'm going to reuse my 2018 album. I'm going to tell you why here in just a second, and I'm going to start working on 4 stories and talk a little bit about my approach to this project. If you missed my live stream last week, I did talk a little bit more about this, as well as setting up my holiday cart. So if you want to go check that out, make sure you do so. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and dig into December Daily 2022. So I recently shared in my live stream that I am using my album from 2018. This album and majority of the supplies I'm using are from Ali Edwards from previous years, so a lot of this is not available. I had set up this album in 2018 with a nice little decoration here on the front cover. That's something that I normally do with my albums. I also went through and created what I consider to be basic foundation pages. So the pages are kind of somewhat ready to go when I want to put my stories in throughout the month of December. And what happened in 2018 is that, well, I built a house. My family and I built a house and we moved into our new home. And so I did not finish this project. So instead of buying something totally new for my 2022 album, I decided to repurpose my 2018 album, and I am starting with stories 1 through 4. Now, I'm not documenting on a daily basis. I'm just adding in stories that I feel are important in my storytelling journey this time of year. Some of them may be based on things that I'm doing this month, so current stories. There may be stories from the past, and also my interests, my favorites, and things like that throughout the holiday season, like favorite movies, favorite foods, favorite drinks. If I'm trying something new, then I want to make sure that I document that. So to begin every December daily album that I create, I like to have sort of a little cover page, a little title page, if you will. So with that, I'm going to pull from my December daily stash. As I mentioned, majority of the products that I'm using were purchased probably last year and then a few years prior to that. So a lot of these elements are not available. I will post a link to available December daily products if you are interested, and I'll do that in the description. So I have these felt hearts, and they're absolutely adorable, and they're stitched on the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 of those there, and then this little acetate circle that says "Celebrate We Will" for life is short but sweet for certain. And I thought that would be fantastic because I'm celebrating all this holiday season. I absolutely love this time of year, and I love to celebrate all the joyful things. Now that that cover is complete, I'm going to go ahead and start with story number 1. And for that, I'm using this pocket. This is a 3x8 pocket. I went ahead and pre-wrote my journaling, and I just resize text boxes in Microsoft Word and then print them out so that they fit in these pockets. And that is kind of my non-Photoshop way of being able to add in typed journaling in different sizes in my albums. By the way, the album that I'm using is a 6x8 album. This felt number 1 was a product that was offered about a year or so ago. It was super, super popular. As you can imagine, it has stitching around it. And that's going to represent story number 1 in my album. I'm also going to layer in this fabric star. For this story, I'm talking about a tradition that my daughter and I started in 2019. There is a movie called Noel on Disney Plus, and it is about about Santa's daughter. Santa passes away. The role of Santa is supposed to go to her brother. He is completely horrible at being Santa, but she's the one who has the twinkle to be Santa. So ultimately, you can probably surmise what happens there, not giving it away too much for those who have not watched it yet. So I did document this story before, but this year I wasn't quite sure if my daughter was really into this tradition. And so I asked her, I said, well, do you want to do our tradition of making waffles and watching Noel the day after Christmas? She says, absolutely. So I was really excited that she was totally on board with that. So that's what I'm journaling. It's sort of this life transition that even though she's getting older, she still enjoys this little tradition that we started. I went ahead and add some washi tape to the bottom of my journaling piece there, just to add a little weight there at the bottom. It's a little bit stark with all the white space, and then of course some more little felt hearts that I'm adding with some zots, or adhesive dots, if you will. I'm going to go ahead and slip that into the pocket. I need to trim just a little bit. I did use a stamp from an older Ali Edwards collection that says "This Story," and I stamped that at the top. And I made sure when I was designing this in Microsoft Word that I had enough space for that stamping and for the embellishing at the bottom. So I just slipped that all in that 3x8 pocket. Now I'm going to address this 6x8 pocket that has 4 spaces. You can put 4x3 photos in there, or 4x3 or 3x4 pocket cards, I should say. 3x4 photos, 3x4 pocket cards. I'm going to keep this really simple. I used a 3x4 pocket card that says "More sparkle, less stress." I did find a picture of the movie poster on Google, printed that out, 3x4, and then added a wood veneer and placed a little felt heart in the middle. Then to the back, I have this cute little painted wood veneer house that was also offered last year, I believe, for the Ali Edwards product line for December Daily. And I have quite a bit of those left, so I want to use those up. I'm going to put a little house right there, and then a label. And that label is a wood veneer label, and it says "Holiday Favorite." And I want to say that's from Ellie Studio from a past collection. I have a photo of the waffles that we eat, because the main character loves waffles. So we eat waffles, drink hot cocoa like Noelle, and we also add a side of bacon to our breakfast. And then there's a photo of Corinne napping as well. She fell asleep almost about before the movie was over. She's been very, very tired. We've been very busy, and she just kind of fell asleep. So I took a picture of her just resting, and we're just relaxing and enjoying the day after Thanksgiving. This piece here is from one of the December Daily product boxes that I have, and a lot of folks who do this project really like using the components of the box that the elements come in. So I just cut off this little flap from the box, added some embellishments, and then backed it with some pattern paper from Felicity Jane. Story number 2, I usually like to put a little blurb in there about us decorating the tree. And for this one, my family drives me nuts. They were actually hiding behind the tree and Corinne under the tree when I said, "Hey, let's take a picture." So of course I have to document this. What I want to do is create this little interactive flip up. I thought I was going to use vellum for this, but I found that it wasn't going to work. So I found some acetate in my stash that I purchased. And I haven't worked with acetate in this way. Usually I will create shakers with acetate, but not as sort of this interactive element. And you'll see what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to trim this down to a little bit over 6x8, because I need at least a 1-inch flap that I can adhere behind the photo. Now here I'm trying to score acrylic. And by the way, if you use really tough acrylic, you know you can't score it with a regular bone folder. So I'm going to score it a little bit with my craft pick just to sort of help it to bend. And I'm sure there's probably an easier way to do this, but I'm just experimenting at this point. And if there is, kindly share that with me in the comment section, because this is the first time I've worked with acetate in this way. So I want to make sure that the adhesive is behind the photo. So I just sort of have about a 1-inch little flap there in the back. And so that way when it's adhered, I already have adhesive there on the photo, I can just flip it up. And now I'm going to slip the photo in the pocket page, and the flap's going to be outside the pocket, and that will allow me to flip it up. Now, all of the embellishments are going to go on the acetate flip up. So I have a acetate circle that has some evergreen going in a circle like a wreath. I'm going to add some double-sided tape to this. I don't mind if the adhesive shows on the other side of the flap. That's not a big deal for me. I'm also going to add this number 2 to represent story number 2, not day number 2, because this was not taken on December 2nd. In fact, this was taken on December, probably the day after. I'm sorry, it was in November is when I took this photo. So this is story number 2. Then I am also going to add in a sparkly little star, and this came from the Ali Edwards December Daily collection from last year, I believe. And then they had these die-cut phrases, and this one says "calm and bright," and it's actually a glitter phrase. It's really hard to see the glitter material, but it is a little sparkly. So now I can flip up this acetate piece, which is great. And then of course I have a title here for the story. Now the actual words for the story are going to go on the back. And so I just typed up the journaling, just kind of explaining how silly my family members are, and that it didn't matter. It doesn't matter how we're doing during a holiday season. If it's not a great holiday season, because we've had some of those before, or if it's been a really great holiday season, we always try to find the joy in the season and enjoy each other's company. And we've been so busy lately with a lot of things going on. It was nice to just kind of slow down and decorate the tree together. Or they were somewhat helping me decorate the tree, really. It's a lot of antics in my household. I went ahead and added some pattern paper to the top and bottom of this journaling piece. This is sized to 6 by 8. And what I did was I created some journaling templates in Microsoft Word so that I can easily just type my journaling and print it out and trim it. So that will make writing my journaling 10 times easier when those templates are already done. I'm going to go ahead and add the stamp that says December. This is from a very old December Daily stamp set that I've had for a long time. And I'm going to add in some embellishments. I thought I was going to use this die cut that says Deck the Halls, but I'm going to change my mind, and you'll see that here in just a second. I add in this heart that's black and has a little bit of sparkle to it, as well as an acetate, a little piece that says Hello Christmas, and then this little cork Christmas tree that has a little bit of gold foiling in sort of the crooks of the cork, which is really, really nice, the crooks and crannies of the cork. So I added a little adhesive dot to the back of the acetate piece, and then I'm going to layer the Christmas tree over it so you can't see the adhesive dot. And then I switched to a chipboard label that says, goodness, Hello Tree, I believe that's what it says, which is perfect for that story. Now I have my little divided container here with a whole bunch of little tiny elements. I, in fact, actually reorganized that today before I did my narration of this video, because that's driving me nuts, that little container with a whole bunch of stuff. But I dug in and found that nice little sparkly star and added that to the top with the tab. And I'm pretty happy with the way that acetate looks there with that particular layout. So moving on, story number 3. This is a story of my daughter, and we were sitting and we were watching TV, and maybe we were talking, and she just kind of curled up and fell asleep. And that doesn't happen often, not as much as it did when she was little. And so I definitely had to take a picture and document this. And in the journaling, what I did was I typed up the journaling in Microsoft Word, and then I printed the journaling first once I knew that I had it positioned where I needed to be. And then I layered that pocket card on top of the printer paper and ran that through my printer. And that's how I was able to get the journaling on that card. The pocket card says, here's the story. And I'm talking about how this doesn't happen often. And so I took the opportunity to like smell her hair and kiss her cheek, you know, all those things that we do as parents, or if you have a kid in your life. And it's these types of stories that I love adding in my December Daily, because again, there are so many changes going on in our life. Christmas now is a lot different with a tween than it was when you have a preschooler, when you have a baby. And so I want to make sure that I document all these special moments. Design wise, I have a pocket card, a 3x4 white and green pocket card there at the top. I'm going to add this metal rimmed tag, and I added in the number 3, which I was going to use the white number 3 that you saw originally, but I decided to switch to the metallic 3 just to kind of switch up the numbering for my stories. And then I added some chipboard Christmas trees there to the white space of the pocket card. I'm going to flip that over. We are going on to story number 4, and this is a layout that's all about my love of holiday wares, if you will. I love my graphic t-shirts, I love my mugs, holiday outfits, and so I'm going to document this t-shirt that I got as a gift for my spouse this season that's based on a character from the movie The Christmas Story. So I want to create an interactive element, and because I am creating this project in 6x8, there's only so much room that you have for extra photos. So I like to create flip-flaps for that. So I started out with a piece of washi tape, and I adhered that to the 3x4 photo with the adhesive side up. Then I added my journaling card, which I created in Microsoft Word, that's also 3x4, and added that to the washi tape to create the flip-up element. And then on top of that, I added my second photo. So when you see the photo at first, then you flip it up, you'll see the journaling, and then you'll see the second photo. I'm going to place the second photo right in the pocket, and now I have this really cool flip-up element. Now to draw attention to the fact that's a flip-up, I'm going to add a little label there to the side, or tab rather, and these are from last year, maybe the year before, Ali Edwards little tabs, and so that way it just kind of draws the viewer's eye to flip that up to read the journaling. Now, unlike the other layouts where I use a number to represent the number of the story, I'm actually going to spell out the word 4 using some of these chipboard letters. 1, because I wanted to use them, and 2, I want to have some variation in the numbering of my stories throughout my album. So at the bottom with this 4x6 pocket card, which I absolutely love, it has these circles with some designs in the middle. I'm going to use that as an opportunity to add in smaller embellishments for a little bit of fun. I'm going to add in these little chipboard, or not chipboard, those are wood veneer, I believe. Maybe they're chipboard, I can't remember. Little houses, those were very popular when they came out as part of one of the kits. I'm also going to add in some chipboard stars, or just one there to that circle. And then I'm going to grab 3 other elements to fill in the other remaining circles. Now here comes that little messy divided tray that I have. I actually organized that, and you'll see that in other videos that I post here doing this project. I'm going to add in this felt heart there in the middle just to bring a little bit of red. There's also this little fabric stocking that already has adhesive on the back. And then I want to add a little candy cane. That's an acrylic candy cane. And I thought at first the green kind of faded, and I thought about a Christmas tree, but the light green faded against that dark green circle. So I'm going to go with a red candy cane instead, added some dots to the back of that, and adhered that to the card. Now the top pocket card is again from December Daily collection. It says, "Love these moments, they bring such joy." And my Christmas teas and decor and my mugs, they all bring me joy throughout the season. So love that interactive element. Nice, clean, simple, able to use some embellishments there. Really, really love the design. I think this is probably one of my favorites so far that I've made for this project. Now, if this is the first video in my December Daily series that you're watching, I do encourage you to go back and watch my 2 live streams that I completed, or maybe I just did one, one live stream where I talk about my December Daily prep and my approach to this project. Again, the emphasis of the project is to do some storytelling during this time of year. And it doesn't always have to be directly holiday stories. It can be a variety of different stories. And one of the things I love so much about this project is that it is super flexible. You can make it be whatever you want it to be. So this year, I'm just adding stories as I feel like it and numbering them along the way. And some of the stories may occur in December, some of them may be past stories, but they're stories that I definitely want to make sure that I have documented in this project. The last thing I want to do is, of course, change the year on the spine of my album. So for that, I'm going to switch out the gold metallic letters or numbers that said 2018 for some puffy metallic letters that say 2022. And you know what? No one would ever know the wiser that this was my 2018 album originally. I'm going to continue to add to this album. I'll take you along on the journey. And if you want to see my prep process for this, click on the video there on screen, and I will see you in the next one.
A sunny day, but it's cold outside.